everybody. We're live. This is the Jim Master Show, live entertainment, lifestyle, celebrity talk show series coming to you from the East Coast of the United States in the New York area. We've got another great episode for you of our entertainment, lifestyle, celebrity talk show series, bringing back the lost art of conversation with celebrity friends and special guests who stop by JMS to greet us and share some cool things with us as well. We've got a veteran, celebrated actor, Douglas Vermeeren, joining us here. He's actually in transit right now. He's going from beautiful San Diego, California, up to beautiful Vancouver. And he's a celebrated actor. He's also a stunt performer, producer, and director. He's been in a lot of great productions and shows and series and films and more. Just shot a film, he told me, here on the East Coast of the United States not that long ago. So he's crisscrossing the United States and Canada, and people love him, and we're so excited to have him here on the show. He is currently starring in a really popular docu-series on Paramount Plus that everybody's been talking about. It is this one here. It is Mafia Spies. I don't know if you've seen it, know anything about it, but you will by the time we're done with this conversation. I want to let you know as well, in addition, of course, to all the incredible work that he has done over the years and continues to do. And these are just some shots. This is shots actually exclusively from the docuseries Mafia Spies on Paramount Plus. And some great actors and actresses are a part of that cast as well. And again, everybody's been talking about it. You got to check it out. It's on Paramount Plus. Douglas has done a lot of incredible things, as we mentioned. Some great shots we've got here. He's even been featured in Hollywood Weekly. We'll talk about that as well. But he's been featured in a lot of cool shows, films, productions, and more. Here are just some of them that we're showing you here. Some of these. This is a new one, too, that he's very, very excited about. We'll talk about that coming up as well. But this one here, Mafia Spies on Paramount Plus, the docuseries, is something, again, near and dear to his heart and to everybody because it is all the rage. Let me tell you right now about this fantastic opportunity here to learn more about that and also about him. I want to tell you here on the show that Douglas is somebody who loves what he does, and he's a multi-talented performer. He even does comedy. He even does motivational speaking as well. Actor, stunt performer, producer, director. His interest in the film business began at the young age, being inspired by blockbuster films like Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Back to the Future. He first got on the set at a young age in Canada, participating in a CBC show, playing a newspaper boy, and he continued to get involved in film anytime he had the opportunity, even skipping school to spend time on movie sets. He attended college and soon found himself on academic probation until shifting gears to acting and screenwriting and film arts. Now in the right place, he began as an honor student and was even awarded a scholarship. He began his efforts in stunt performance at the age of 13, with his first stunt riding on the roof of a speeding car. Since that time, he's done extensive training in martial arts, motorcycles, race cars, horseback riding, stunt falls, fire, and playing so much more. He's also the producer and director of 4 of the top personal development documentaries as a very special guest. You're seeing him there on the screen, of course. And again, as I mentioned, he is starring in this fantastic docuseries. Tell you also as well that he is one of the busiest actors right now in feature films, and he's been all over, as I mentioned, crisscrossing not only the United States and Canada, but Europe as well. And truly is an understatement to say that he's one of the busiest. To keep up with his roles in the productions, well, he was in the Western Unnatural 2. He plays Lucifer, directed by Whit Whitman and shot in Kentucky. And in May, Little Monsters Productions. He then flew to attend the Cannes Film Festival before booking a role as a gangster, Archie Baker, in Clean Right Hook, shot in London, UK, in late May and June of 2024, directed by Sam Purewal, and for Black Coppice Productions. Then back to the US for Deadly Endings, shot in New Haven, Connecticut, just a few weeks ago. Douglas plays Bradley West with filmmaker Richard Harlost. Douglas also found time to shoot the role of Raynard in Alien Horde, his second film with Mahal Empire. Forbes Celebrity Magazine pays attention to his career, the acting career, as he's included on the Forbes Top 10 list. The magazine states the Forbes Top 10 celebrity list is only complete with Douglas, and as an actor and stuntman making waves in nearly every film genre. Really, really cool. That's, again, a great shot from Mafia Spies. My name is Jim Masters. Douglas literally is on the road. He's in a Tesla that's going north from San Diego up to Vancouver. So he's taken a few moments here to join us and celebrate all the cool things he's working on, including Mafia Spies on Paramount Plus. Here he is, my friends. Douglas joining us here live from somewhere on the highway in California. Douglas, welcome,
everybody. Thanks for having me, Jim. This is super fun. Just so everybody knows, we should explain this. I'm not the one driving, okay? So I've got somebody here that's driving for us right now.
Boy, he's really, really successful. He has his own driver and everything.
She's amazing. That's my sweetheart, Jen.
So hello to Jen, and we welcome Jen to the show as well. So you are
and our
literally...
co-pilot's asleep. And our co-pilot's asleep.
Oh, really?
That's Winston.
Sure. Look, I tell you.
He's looking
must be a union dog. Knew when to look at camera as soon as you said the name.
That's right. 100%. That's 100% true.
So you are literally in the car heading north from San Diego to Vancouver, right?
Yeah. No, we decided we would do a nice little road trip. It's funny. We've been, like you said, going from movie to movie over the last little while. So, you see enough insides of airplanes and hotel rooms that just the nice countryside is sometimes a good way to reset, right? So we're thankful for that.
It's about an 18-hour drive, isn't it, from San Diego up to Vancouver?
Right. I also see Pierre Kelly in the comments says, "Don't drink and drive," but we did stop at In-N-Out. That's the place to go, right?
There
Dr.
you go,
Pepper.
Pierre. So now Pierre is very satisfied and happy.
Nice.
And Ross is Lost is here. We've got some live viewers that are commenting in our JMS Levity Hall chat room. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you can chat in the chat room right now live. And he says, hello all. Congrats, Douglas. Fantastic. Good to have you. Ross is Lost. Hey, congratulations on everything that's been happening in your life and in your career. I know you wear a lot of, pun intended, you wear a lot of different hats. And I mentioned being stunt performer, an actor, producer, director, even a speaker, and you've done comedy as well. When you look back, it was early on for you that you got inspired, right? As you were watching some of those big blockbuster films, the Star Wars and everything else, sort of piqued your interest, right? What was those early years like for you, those inspirations, Douglas?
Well, it was really cool. And to be honest, when I first started in movies, I didn't really know that I was in movies. In fact, the very first set, like you were talking about, when I went out for CBC and was a newspaper boy on a show, it was a film called Mildred McFall. I've never seen it, so I have no idea what it's about. But it was my grandpa that took me to the movie set and kind of stuck around as my guardian and watched. And the biggest thing that I remember is that they had strawberry-filled donuts at the craft services table. And at the end of the day, they paid me $50. So I really didn't realize I was making movies. In fact, that probably came closer to the age of junior high and high school that I realized what I was getting involved in. And it's just been super, super fun. And like, obviously, the more that you kind of do this, the more you kind of feel that it's, I don't know, it just kind of unlocks the opportunity for you to see yourself in a different way. When I was a kid, I mean, I just was kind of doing whatever was fun. Now it's really a matter of trying to stretch myself as an actor and, get a chance to do the projects that I think are going to be most enjoyable and add to my, to my experience, my toolbox, if you will, right? So
what came first for you? Was it the acting or was it the stunt work? Were you always jumping out of trees, jumping off roofs, jumping into swimming pools, doing backflips in the house?
Well, I'm going to say it depends who you ask. Professionally, it was obviously the acting, but I remember as a kid, I had to replace some girl's hula hoop because we tried to light it on fire and ride our bicycles through it, me and my brother. So we've been doing stuff like that for a long time. I still remember also one time that my dad came, out in the front area and was looking through the big bay window and wondered why all our friends were on the front lawn looking up. And so he came out and saw that we were standing on the roof of the house and we were probably 5 and 6 years old waving at all of our friends. So we used to do a lot of crazy stuff, but yeah, I mean, stunts has always been something I've enjoyed anyways.
I remember as a kid too, not driving, climbing on the top of the roof on our house as well. And a ladder would go up. There's a part of the house where the roof sloped down a little bit in sort of a den area. So it was a little bit lower where you can get to the roof if you had to and climb up on the roof, and you think you're the king of the world. You see all the other houses, you see down the street, you see everything from the top of the roof. But if the roof is angled like this, you really got to be balanced. And my father would be there at the end of the ladder, holding the ladder for me to be able to then, climbing up on the ladder and climbing up onto the roof, which is, I didn't do it all the time, but just once in a while it was exciting. Dad knew about it. He helped with the ladder. But getting off the roof, finding a way to sort of slide back onto that ladder and coming down, wood ladder, no doubt, was a little tricky. And of course, then when Mom would find out, what are you guys doing?
Right.
It'd be a whole other story, I tell you. So you had these opportunities, the things we do as kids, I tell you, as we're going along. What was the first big break for you? If you take a look at your illustrious career that continues to grow and expand, what would you consider a really important, pivotal opportunity that happened for you that sort of launched things further?
Well, I'd say there's a few that really stand out in my mind, because there's some that are, I should say, the confidence boosters that let me know I was on the right track. Then there were situations career-wise that opened big doors for me. And I think for me, hate to say it, but as you mentioned in the intro, I used to skip high school to go be on movie sets. And I remember there was one that we did for a show called Primo Baby, where in the 10th grade or something like this, me and a friend of mine, James, snuck out. We took the public transit down to this movie set and kind of snuck onto the set, and they used us and they got us involved. And it was kind of at that point where, I don't know, I don't want to say this to jade any student out there, but I kind of felt that day that I really didn't need all the other stuff that was going on. I could make my own way, and I had power and strength to kind of figure my own way out, and that confidence. So skipping school like that kind of added a lot of power to me personally. I felt great about it. And then I guess another really cool experience that I enjoyed, which really made a difference to me, is in 2003, I had a friend of mine who ran an agency for like background performers and other things. And I wasn't really doing a lot of background performing or anything like that. But he said to me, I really desperately need your help. Can you please go and do a show for me? And I was like, well, what's the show? And he's like, Kevin Costner's in town doing Open Range. He's got Robert Duvall and Annette Bening with him, and Michael Jeter and a bunch of other people. And I just need a couple of people to go out to do background. Are you doing anything? And the reality is I was free that day, so I said sure, but I had other things going on, so there was just no way for sure that I could stay more than a day. So when I got there, it was just interesting to see how Kevin Costner ran his movie set. And I'll be honest with you, I enjoyed him before then, but I wasn't really a big fan. So to kind of see now how he was with people, it really up-leveled my respect for him. And so I really thought he was amazing. Now, if you know anything about movie sets, if you interact with a lot of the stars, sometimes they'll just send you home. And so I'm thinking, hey, I'm only here for the day anyways. I'm going. So I decided I'd go and tell Kevin that I was actually really impressed with him as a director. And so I went across the table and I shook his hand and all this kind of stuff. And after lunch, I thought for sure I'm going home now, because you don't do that. I broke the rules, so to speak, the set etiquette. Anyways, they got me dressed up to do some photo doubling for John Rousseau. And while I was there doing the photo doubling, Kevin had these Polaroid pictures that were taken earlier that day of all of the people that were doing background. And he was putting X's on some, that this person, maybe we can let them go and send them home. Check marks on others. Hang on to this guy. He's got a good look, whatever. And all of a sudden, he's staring at me when I'm dressed in a different costume in front of him. He remembered my face. And he came beside me, showed me the picture of me, put a check mark on it, and said, "You're staying." And I was like, this can't happen. I've got a gig coming up. I've got all this coming up. Well, he asked me for my agent's name. So I gave that to him. And then later on that afternoon, all of a sudden, my agent calls me up on my cell phone and goes, "You'll never believe who called me." I said, "Who?" And she goes, "Well, Kevin Costner called me personally, and you're staying on their movie." And I ended up working on that show for 3 months. And it was an awesome experience to not only get to know him, but to see kind of a lot more behind the scenes on bigger Hollywood movies, things I hadn't seen before. I was included in kind of some, inner circle kind of workings because I was part of First Unit. They had me do stunts on it. I did photo and stunt for Ian Tracy on that whole show, and so I got a chance to get really close with him. And so I think for me, well, actually, it's interesting because Kevin took me aside one day and basically said, keep at it. This is the way I started doing this kind of work in other people's films. And so I think it was, a pretty cool turning point for me too, just to see a little bit more about how a guy like Kevin Costner thinks on set, how guys like Robert Duvall behave on set. To have them to myself, like there was actually 2 weeks that I myself alone just had Kevin, Robert Duvall, and Michael Jeter, just the three of them and me, right? So it was just kind of a fun, cool experience that I'll probably never forget. Obviously, I love the success he's had since, and I'm now a fan for life just because the guy was so cool.
That's a really great opportunity and a great story as well. Thanks for sharing that. Who are some other folks that have inspired you that you've looked up to, whether they're in the acting world or maybe even motivational speaking? Because I know you do some of that as well. And also the stunt people. I'm sure, you've followed Evel Knievel and his son, and the Wallendas, Nick Wallenda, the whole family.
Do not forget Vic Armstrong either. Probably the greatest stuntman that there ever was. It's funny. I've got a lot of inspirational people that I look up to, and you're right. They're not just all in film, but honestly, if you wanted to go through some of the people that have inspired me, your show needs to be at least another 10 hours long. For movie people, I've always been a fan of the old school people like James Dean and Marlon Brando. And I know he doesn't get a lot of credit, but Elvis Presley, and I'm actually a cousin of Elvis's. So even though he made some not so great movies, he actually made some really cool movies too. If you look at his early stuff like King Creole or Jailhouse Rock or Lovin' You, I'm a big fan. And for the personal development world, it's funny because I produced 4 films in that space, and I've got another 5th one coming out like literally in the next 2 weeks based on the book. If people are aware of the movie The Secret, it was actually based originally on a book called The Science of Getting Rich. So I'm actually doing a film on that, comes out in about 2 weeks. But all those people that were in those films have been incredibly inspirational to me. People like Bob Proctor and John Ostroff, Joe Vitale, John DeMartini, Marie Diamond, Dennis Waitley, Tony Robbins, all those guys, so fascinating and just such incredible, intelligent teachers that every time I spend time with them, they're stretching my mind. It's just insane. In fact, you know what? If you're interested, I'll get you those guys back on the show because they're all close friends and they're in my other films. So happy to make them available to you.
That would be fantastic. Did you ever follow Wayne Dyer?
And I love Wayne Dyer.
I interviewed him on PBS, and he was one of the most fascinating people, Wayne Dyer.
Absolutely incredible. But I have to admit, if we're talking about people that are truly inspiring to me, and maybe this is going to be a bit of a answer that maybe some people will get, but some people will say, not sure if I agree or whatever. I don't know, whatever you want. It's not always the most famous people that make the biggest differences in your life. Exactly. And so if I'm voting for the most inspirational person to me, it would actually probably be my mom.
Yes,
and
good answer.
Let me explain kind of why that is. So she raised 4 boys, and in order to do so, I'm the oldest. She had to leave school, so she was training to be a dental assistant. And then once all of us were graduated school and ready to kind of take on the world ourselves, she went back to school, got all her credentials back to go back as a dental assistant. Then she started running marathons. Now get this. While running the St. George Marathon, she blew out her knee, so she came back a couple years later and became a speed walker. And she actually won several world competitions as a speed walker in her age category. And she trained with Olympians and everything else. And so I'm just thinking, if a lady can raise like 4 boys and then go back and conquer the world, like, wow, that is incredible. So I guess I can do it too. That's always kind of inspired me to just really reach for higher levels. Somebody's asking, did I do Hallmark movies? Actually, I have. The first Hallmark movie that I did, I also did stunts and photo doubling for Scott Grimes on one called Dreamkeeper. And then I just recently, in January of this last year, shot another Christmas movie, my very first Christmas movie. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, that's the very first one, huh? Do you know the name of it? We'll look for it.
It's called Homeless for the Holidays. And something really funny, in one day, like it includes Al Snow, who's a WWE wrestler. In one day, because I did my own stunts and I played the character Jeffrey in it, in one day I got hit in the face with a football, hit in the face with a pie, and had a Christmas tree fall over on me and Al Snow together on the floor all one day.
And what
just
was your
doing stunts
favorite
back
of
and
all
forth.
those things that happened? Was it the
Probably the football in the face, because some guys on set took it and put music to it after, and it just cracked me up. It was hilarious. I think it's on TikTok right now.
makes me think of Marsha on the Brady Bunch.
Right.
On my nose.
And of course, I had no idea that football was coming. And as an actor, I had to be looking like I was engaged in other things. And suddenly I get whap, this football just takes me right in the side of the face. It's pretty awesome. Pierre saying Al Snow from Smoky Mountain Wrestling in the 90s. That's the guy. That's the one.
So you grew up in Canada?
I did.
And what were the opportunities like early on for you growing up in Canada? And did you always have Hollywood as something on your radar? Vancouver is such a big area for a lot of productions are happening as well now.
Well, that's a great question. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think I knew enough about how the industry worked as a kid to have Vancouver or Toronto or Hollywood on my radar. I thought you could kind of do this from anywhere. In fact, just show you how naive I was. This is really silly now. I used to take my Star Wars action figures and all the spaceships and stuff out onto the front lawn of my parents' house. And what I would do is I'd watch for cars to come by. And as soon as I saw a car come by, I'd play even better and faster and more intense, because I thought maybe George Lucas would drive by, spot me, and put me in a Star Wars commercial. I thought that's how they did it, right? And so obviously it never worked out.
On the spot auditioning on the front lawn.
Yeah, I would love to one day work for George Lucas or do something with Star Wars. I'm always a fan.
Oh, that's somebody really to be very
Calgary,
interested.
Alberta, Canada.
Calgary, yeah. I was up in Edmonton for the first time last spring. We were on a television shoot up in Edmonton. Really, really cool. And you know, it's funny, you forget, if you haven't been to that part, you know, Alberta and that part of Canada, you just assume everything is the Olympics and they're like Swiss Alps, mountains everywhere and bobsledding and all. No, it's as flat as Iowa. It's just, you know, it's farmland and flat. And but Edmonton is a cool city. We didn't make it to Calgary.
My mom's from Edmonton.
Really?
You'll have to come back for the Stampede.
Yeah, when we got a chance to film at CKUA, we went into the City Hall, met the mayor, and the beautiful art gallery of Alberta. That new modern one is really a spectacular place. So you are juggling a lot of different things.
Yeah, Merlin says that from Ontario. I've shot actually 3 films this year in Ontario, and I'm going back to do another one in September. So we're in Ontario all the time. I love Ontario. So
you're doing a lot of different things. Are you still doing the stunt performing as well? Does that still come into play with some of the roles that you participate in?
Yes, and the reality is as I've kind of climbed in the ranks a little bit, sometimes for insurance reasons, they won't always let me do stunts. So sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. I love doing it. I just did something not too long ago in England where we did a full body burn. They lit me fully on fire. That's pretty cool. And by the way, for those of you that want to see the demo for that, the prep for it, there is a video on YouTube right now. You can just type in Douglas Vermeeren stunt demo, and you'll see the guy that played the original Red Power Ranger lighting me on fire, which is pretty fun. But I still try where I can to do other stunts. Like I was just talking about with the Christmas movie, each of those things, getting hit with a pie, a football, falling out of a tree, those are all stunts. And then when I was just last in England doing Clean Right Hook, we had a bunch of fight scenes, especially in the stairwell and gunshots and being dragged out the door by your ankles and all these kind of crazy things. Those are all considered stunts too. So that was probably the last one we did stunts on. I'm just trying to remember if I did any in Connecticut. Well, I shouldn't give away the movie, but I do get injured in Connecticut.
You were on the East Coast, right? In New Haven, Connecticut, filming recently in June?
That's right. That character does get injured, but it wasn't really a stunt. It was pretty easy to do. So camera trickery.
I tell you, that's really cool stuff. And then, of course, Mafia Spies on Paramount Plus, the docuseries. How did this opportunity come your way? And congratulations on it, because obviously everybody's talking about this docuseries. Tell us about it.
Well, it's actually very fortuitous that I got that. And I absolutely am so grateful to the director, Tom Donahue. So Tom and his crew, they were over at the Banff World Media Festival in Banff, Alberta. And it's a big festival that takes place every year with people from the film industry. You've got everybody, reps from Paramount Plus, Netflix, Universal, a variety of directors and producers that are there. And while I was there, I had a chance to meet Tom, and he just loved my look. And he said, you should come down and be, first of all, it was one of my hitmen, or I was thinking maybe a mafia guy is what he wanted me for. But, by the time we kind of got down a little bit further down the line, he decided to have me play his lead FBI character, his lead FBI agent. But I actually do 3 roles in the film. So if you look at the very first minute of the entire film, you've got all these people staring up into space to see the Sputnik satellite. I'm one of those guys. And it's funny because maybe just because Tom is such a nice guy that he held it on me for the longest, looking straight in. So you can't help but see it's me. And then I also played one of the Cuban revolutionaries who surrenders as a plot to kill Castro. And then obviously I'm the FBI guy that we go after, Johnny Rosselli. And it was just such a fun project to be involved in. But here's one of the coolest stories that I think I've ever had in my life. Super, super cool. So when I was a young man, our family went to California, and we had a chance to tour some of the different studios. One of them was Paramount, of course. And so I don't know.
Isn't that a great place? Oh my God, I've been there. It's
yeah. And so if anybody is on the studio tour, they've done it before. They know they put you on this golf cart, they drive around and show you where a lot of famous movies have come. And sometimes there's people that are making a movie on the site, and they'll let the audience or the tour people kind of look in on what's going on. Well, when I was a young man, I remember seeing off this studio tour thinking, wow, there's a movie being shot there, and one day I'm going to do this. And at the time, they wouldn't let us talk to the actors, but I could just see it from a distance. And I was just like, I'm going to come back. I'm going to do this. This is going to be my dream. I'm so excited. Well, anyways, fast forward like 20 years, and all of a sudden, I'm working on the Paramount lot as the FBI agent, and suddenly the golf cart who are doing the tour. Well, I turned to the director, and, we're just about to go on lunch. So he goes, yeah, you can go over and talk to those people and do pictures and selfies and autographs. Anyways, there was this young man, same age as I was when I went through the tour. And he says to me, I'm going to do this as a career. I'm going to do this forever and ever. And this is what I want to do, and blah, blah, blah. And I told him that, you know what, you can do it, because I was exactly like you. So it was like a total full circle moment for me. And that was really kind of special to do a picture with that kid. And I hope one day we get to see him in a film somewhere, and that would be super awesome.
Absolutely amazing. I was on a TV shoot in Burbank, and I had some downtime, and a friend of mine at that time, Dr. Phil was being filmed there at the Paramount lot. So I told my buddy that I'm coming to the West Coast, to the LA Burbank area. And he said, would you like to see the Paramount lot? So we did we even do the golf cart. He took me personally in and around, and we were walking the whole thing, which was absolutely amazing. And one of the coolest things that I remember, and I've told so many people about, that he told me about, when we were standing in one of these big parking lots where all the staff and everybody parks, he said, you know what happens with this parking lot? It's because it's sort of sunken in. I said, what? It looks like a parking lot. There's a big cement wall there. What do? He said, here's what they do. When they're filming and they need an ocean scene, they have everybody move all their cars out. They fill the sunken area with water, and then they create that ocean scene. And some of the most epic movies have been filmed using that parking lot where the staff parks. It's 100%. Really cool when you see that, huh? Wow.
Yeah, and then they slide in the blue screen behind it so they can even substitute out backgrounds. I totally know exactly what you're talking about. In fact, it was really kind of funny, because when we were on the Paramount lot, we would actually walk on, and then they would either take golf carts to bring us to the set, or we could walk because they give us a map. So anyways, there was another guy that was there, and we were just kind of chatting and stuff. And he found out that I'm related to Elvis Presley. So he says, I want to show you something before you go to set. So he took me to an area in the Paramount kind of, I guess there's sort of like a gardens there with buildings on either side, in this garden in the center. And he said, well, when Elvis was here filming a lot of the Paramount shows, he'd never really wanted to leave or go back to his hotel. Just easy for him to hang out here. So they actually built an apartment for him in that little area. And he showed me where Elvis was hanging out. So that was pretty cool to kind of see that as well. And that was just a fun area. It was great.
By the way, it really is.
I'm just gonna share something. Whit is on this, so Whit knows my Jen. She can say hi if she'd like to, because Whit's on this. Just so you guys know, Whit that you see there is actually the director of the Homeless for the Holidays movie that I was talking about. But I also just finished doing another film for him in Kentucky where I play Lucifer, and that's the film Unnatural Part 2. And that was a really fun movie as well. So, yeah,
That's
you've got
incredible.
the director listening in here. Well, that's cool.
Welcome, Whit. That's a great, that's a great name too, Whit. There's another guy named Whit Johnson who's on ABC. He's one of the anchors on the weekends on ABC News. And he hails from California. Whit Johnson. Yeah. Hey, we got this too. Look at that.
Oh, recreating.
Tell us about that.
That's cool. Not quite finished yet, but that's actually a super fun one that I'm super proud of. So with recreating 1912, I've always been a massive fan of older movies. Maybe you have been too, I don't know. But
Sure.
I'm a fan of really old movies. I'm talking like the stuff that came out at the beginning of motion pictures. And so I've always been a big fan of people like Harold Lloyd, who some of you might not even know. Look him up. He did all his own stunts in the black and white era, and in fact, even with one stunt, he ended up breaking his neck, but continued shooting the scene. Just incredible. I love people like Buster Keaton, who we're all familiar with, or Charlie Chaplin, who we're all familiar with. But people from that era have always been amazing for me, just to watch them perform, considering that the innovations in stunt work didn't exist at that time. And you didn't really have a way to do a lot of different effects, certainly no visual effects like we know them today. So everything was done live in front of camera. So with that film, recreating 1912, which we've almost got finished, I went back and using very similar technology to what they had, recreated a lot of different stunt sequences and created even some new ones, but I didn't use any of the modern day support to do it. So yeah, I did get hurt. It was challenging, and it kind of gave me a sense to see how they did it, and I really had a lot of fun.
That is so cool, huh? To be involved in that and paying heed and homage and celebrating the older movies and that spectacular time period. Like I said, you're doing so many different things. And Mafia Spies, of course, is the docuseries we're talking about on Paramount Plus. So look for that, folks, too. But in addition to that, I mean, here's another one that we had pulled up as well. This one looks very, very cool. Unexplained Paranormal Files. And his picture froze a little bit there. They're probably going into an area.
There we go. I'm back.
Yeah, you didn't go. I was hoping. I said they didn't take a detour and go into Area 51, did they? I hope not.
Wouldn't that have been awesome? Aliens. Oh!
Well, it's funny because as I said that, look what came up on the screen: Unexplained Paranormal
and
Files.
You know what's so funny? Yeah, Paranormal Files was super fun to do. There's more episodes of that coming. But I also just signed on to do a regular TV series called Operation Majestic, which we shot the pilots for last year, and now it's coming up to, that show, but it's all like alien.
What's that going to be? Oh, okay. Yeah.
I believe that'll also be airing on Fox affiliates and I think CTV affiliates, but I'm not sure yet. Hey, there's John Wells as well. You know, it's hilarious. John actually has done several movies with me with Whit, and we've got another alien one coming up. So welcome, speaking about John. Aliens, right?
These are all now Jim Masters show Levity Squads. We said I started this series, playing off my professional work all these years on television and radio. I started this series. We're about 4.5 years now, and at the time of this show today, and about almost 1,200 episodes of the Jim Masters show series. And episodes, 1,200 in 4.5 years is a lot. And we say the show has a lot of levity, light, love, and levity sort of put together. So what happens is when there's new folks watching and chiming in, everybody calls them a levity. So John is, and everybody else, Whit and Leslie and you, and
that's so
cool
funny
stuff. Yeah, the Levity Squad is, and that's it slipped out of my mouth when I said the show has a lot of light, love, and levity. And I said levity once, and they jumped on it and said, "We love that word."
Awesome.
It's cool stuff. Awesome. So, what are some other things in addition? Oh, yeah, we want to show this too. I showed this in the intro. Cover of the magazine here, Hollywood Weekly, and other magazines. That's cool stuff, huh?
Yeah, Hollywood Weekly's been kind enough. They've had me on the cover 3 times now, and I think I'm on their cover again this year in October when Black Creek comes out, which is the cowboy movie. I think you showed the cover of Black Creek earlier. That was a really fun movie to work on. As a kid, I always loved martial arts movies. I'm a martial artist myself.
Right.
And I've been training a variety of martial arts for years. And so it was fascinating that, you know, I met Cynthia Rothrock a handful of years ago at an event, kind of an Oscar viewing party. And we got to be friends there, and we've been pretty good friends ever since. And she invited me to come out and play Hank Winslow, which is one of the bad guys, the right-hand guy for Richard Norton, who you might know Richard from Fury Road and Furiosa, etc. So I'm his right-hand guy. And then the movie features also a lot of other martial artists like Don the Dragon Wilson and Keith Cook, who's on Mortal Kombat, and you know, he played Sub-Zero and I think Scorpion and these kind of things. And so it was fun to kind of be involved in that. And then at the end of the movie, I shouldn't say too much, but Cynthia kicks me in the face, so it's kind of fun to get kicked by Cynthia. But that comes out October 9th. In fact, the premiere is in Beverly Hills, and I think that people can still attend that if they'd like to. But it's definitely a fun movie. And
any more East Coast projects happening, New York area or anything on the East Coast you see?
I don't remember if there's anything on the schedule for now. I know that I've got a couple of big ones coming up, and I'm also going to be heading back to Europe this year for some more, and possibly Asia.
Cool. What parts of Europe you headed to?
So generally I'm in London most of the time.
Nice.
London, Leicester, Cardiff, all of these are the other areas. So I think we're heading back to the London area this time. I also have done projects in France and Spain and a few other areas. I used to live in France, actually. So je parle français couramment, c'est facile, c'est pas un problème. In fact, in Alberta, I did the very first French-speaking film that ever came through Alberta, Canada. So that was kind of cool.
That's very, very cool. Hey, you know, we have a short little demo reel here, which they sent, which is really cool. Shows some of the recent work. It's the updated one. Let's take a look at that right now and see Douglas in action, folks. He's our special guest live on, are you on I-5 or?
I don't even know what I'm on.
Yeah, you're just in the passenger side and the Tesla is
yes, we are on the I-5.
I-5, yeah, going
we're on
straight
the I-5.
north. San Diego to Vancouver, right here. It's a road trip with Douglas here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Here we go. Take a look at this. Just a little bit of a snippets of his extraordinary work. We appreciate Douglas being a guest on the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Celebrity Talk Show series. And we welcome everybody who's watching around the world. The show is live. It's also going to be archived on our YouTube channel as well. If you are enjoying it, give a like, thumbs up like, leave a comment in the comment section, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, and see all the other episodes. Take a look at this. Douglas in action.
Good luck.
It can't be real. This isn't real.
Why, Leonard?
Look at me! Because I killed you.
Hey, Leonard.
Hey, Catherine.
What's up?
I was wondering if maybe you wanted to hang out tonight.
Oh, crap, I can't. I'm actually not feeling well. I was just gonna go to bed. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night. Did you have a good night? Did you have a good night with him?
Leonard, please.
Don't say my name. You don't deserve to call me that. You're just like the rest of them.
Just please don't.
Don't what? Hurt you?
Quit your squirming, I can't think. What the fuck you think you're doing? I just need a little bit, man. Get the fuck out of here then. I'll do this myself. Go back to the cabin. I'll take care of it. Go. Hey. Don't smoke at all. I'll fucking kill you. That's our nest egg. I'm Grandma Max. Don't think I won't fucking kill you. All right, man. I got you.
Where is it?
I won't ask again!
Stubborn as always. Very well. I thought you might need some motivating.
Get down! Let her go!
Eyes and ears, Sam. Glad to see that you're now motivated.
I already told you I don't have it.
I've been hunting for these for decades, and neither you or anyone is gonna stop me! Hello, I'm the reporter from the Chronicle.
Come in.
Thank you. Thank you for seeing me, Mr. Vivaldi. For our readers, what would be the one key factor in achieving all of your great and grand accomplishments? Those were the last words he ever spoke.
Wow. Bottom line, don't tick off Douglas. Stay on his good side. He knows people. That's cool. How is it when, and that's just a few clips of some of it shows the variety and scope of your work. When you see all that, it's kind of cool, isn't it? You're like, oh yeah, I did that. I forgot I was in that and I was doing that. And it's kind of cool when you see it.
Well, it's interesting because sometimes I even forget about different shows that I've done. I was at a house party a little while ago, and I saw this, like they had the TV going on in the background. I saw this guy that I'd worked with on TV, and I was like, oh, he's so cool, like super great guy. And I started singing his praises. And then suddenly another actor came on, and I'd also worked with him. And I was like, I worked with him too. These guys are awesome. And then suddenly I walked in, and everybody's like, oh, you knew this was you the whole time. And I was like, I honestly didn't. Because the reality is you get so used to seeing things from your side of the camera. And, I oftentimes just forget that some of the scenes that we've done, like, especially if you're doing just, a big lengthy movie. So it's neat to see yourself sometimes. But at the same time, I have to admit, you also can be surprised by what the editors do with it in both positive and negative ways. Like sometimes even my very best performance or what I liked, they didn't pick that one. So what are you going to do? You have fun with it, and I don't know, you just do what you can because you don't always have much choices on how it ends up. That's why I'm always disappointed when I see these poor kids that they get a Razzie Award, and like I just saw this young girl, she was 9 and they voted her a terrible actress and tried to give her a Raspberry Award or whatever they're calling it. And I just didn't think it was very fair because there's so many people that go into making a movie and you don't really have a final say on what makes it into the final edit. And so it's just, I don't know. People got to remember that movies are made by a committee. They're an art form, and they're an art form with a budget. And so you don't always get the chance to perfect what you'd have. You just hope everybody likes it by the time it's done, right?
Absolutely right. And you've done, now some people that have come through here have said, and I think maybe Johnny Depp is somebody who said at one time that he doesn't necessarily look at his work. He won't necessarily watch the movie, or he'll move on to the next. So it's always the next thing, right. and focusing and immersing himself in the next thing. Do you review the work you've done to sort of tweak things and learn from it and try something different?
Yeah.
Or do you move on to the next thing?
Not always, though. I guess one of the things that's interesting is that I don't always like to watch what I've done. Sometimes I just like to go to the next thing. But if I'm supporting the film and I'm looking to help promote it, and if they're doing film festivals, I can't help but see it. And sometimes that's a super positive experience. It's fun to see it with an audience, to see if what you've done is landing and they're excited about it and it works. That's always fun to see that. But sometimes, I had one film, and I definitely won't mention the name, that when I got the first preview to watch it, I watched it with my son. And I'll be honest, I didn't like the movie. I wasn't a big fan of it. But they invited me to come to a film festival where it was going to premiere, and I didn't want to say no. I'm not going to promote this film that I'm in. I wanted it to be successful. So I did go, and I went to the premiere. And I learned a really interesting lesson, because when I shared the movie there with about 300 or 400 people in the auditorium, they loved it, and the audience had a really incredible response to it. And people came up after and were thanking me for my work and everything else. And I just began to realize that if I do a film and I don't like it, it doesn't necessarily give me the right to speak badly about it, because it might be something special to someone else. It might, like, once the film is done, I don't own it. I don't have any control over it. I'm just part of it. And if it's been a really positive emotional experience for someone else, I have no right to, like, criticize it either. Right?
Are you hard on yourself, or you demand a lot from yourself? Are you?
Just a minute, we'll get somebody to answer that question.
Do you demand a lot of yourself? Are you hard? Are you hard on yourself, Douglas?
Yeah. I think that that's really the nature of the business of anybody.
I know.
Right.
I am too,
but if anybody that's looking to be the best they are in their field, like if you're really looking to become the best, whether it's the best doctor, the best lawyer, the best plumber, the best whatever it is, fill in the blank. I think if you want to become the best at whatever you do, you have to be hard on yourself. Right?
Is there anybody that you would love to work with, people that you would love to collaborate with, other actors, other performers, others that you know, Spielberg or other people that are on your list of, gee, it would really be cool to work on a project with these people or that person?
Well, because they're here on the call, I'm going to say I always love working with Whit Whitman and John Wells. But there's others too that I'd love to work with. I always have fun with those guys. Here's the deal. Like, honestly, I think for different reasons, I want to work with different people. The reason, and I'm not kidding about this, why I said Whit and John is because I also want to work with people that I enjoy working with and that are friends, and we have fun and we can create something together. We've worked with each other enough times that we can really create magic. And I think for those guys, that definitely qualifies. But there are definitely some big names, people that are legendary to me that I would love to work with and love to be involved with. Like, I mean, how much time have you got? I mean, the list goes on and on forever of people that I admire. I know we haven't seen Dustin Hoffman in a movie for years, but I would love to do something with him. I would love to be working with Clint Eastwood before he finally retires, which could be any minute now. Richard Dreyfuss is another one that I've met him and had a great connection with him. I'd love to work with him. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, people like Ed Norton, obviously Hugh Jackman. I'd love to work with another Canadian like Ryan Reynolds. I mean, the list is so long of people that I admire. It's like, who would you say no to? My sweetheart wants me to work with Glenn Powell. So we'll see what happens. You never know, right?
Exactly right. Now, you enjoy the producing and the directing as much as being the performer too, right?
I do.
Yeah. I know, just thinking about it gets you all choked up, right?
A little bit emotional, right? It's a totally different job, though.
It is.
And it's got a different, you know, obviously different skill sets, but also a different sense of rewards, too.
Absolutely right. What are some other things you're excited about that you're working on?
Wow.
I mean, I know you can't really say a lot because a lot of these things are sort of happening, but
right. And you know what? I don't know that they're just exclusively movie things that I'm excited about in my life. One of the things that's really kind of cool for me is I'm a practicing martial artist still. So I practice jiu-jitsu, and I just love working on that, and I compete as well. So
and you're a speaker too, right? That's sort of like a motivational.
Yeah, I do a lot of speaking lately for the cruise ships. Honestly, the speaking industry has changed a lot for us since COVID. Because people aren't assembling in big groups like they used to. Even still now, there's you know, not as many big groups as there are. But yeah, I mean, speaking is fun. We'll be doing a lot with the new personal development movie that comes out. But like, I mean, there's a lot of things in my personal life that I really enjoy, and you know, getting a chance to, you know, grow with family time and things like that. But if we're talking professionally, I've got a handful of films that I'm working on scripts for right now that I can see coming out in the next couple of years, being able to shoot those and have them come out. We've got a really cool one that I'm excited about, a scary movie that I can't say too much about. That's probably going to change the way that we look at scary movies, the same way that Blair Witch opened the door for us to be familiar with what they call now found footage films. We've got something else that we're inventing that's not been seen before that we think will kind of make some waves. I've also got a really cool film coming up called Dead Stuntman that I think is going to be neat, and kind of also a James Bond sort of spy thriller. And I can talk a little bit about this, but the opening sequence is an aerial fight with some world-class skydivers. And that's going to be incredible to do. And it's got me a little nervous, but you got to push your boundaries. You got to see what you can do.
What is,
Right.
if you look at it, what is one of the most intense or scariest or profound stunts that you ever did so far? You've done so far that when you look back at it, you're
Yeah.
like, wow, I can't believe I actually did that and it worked out.
Well, I don't know if I'd be in disbelief that it worked out, but there were some that were really adrenaline rushes. So I did a show called The Signal a few years ago, and I did a jump from a moving motorcycle, onto the side of a Hummer at about 60 kilometers an hour, and I had to do it again and again, and that was great. And then later, when we put the bike on a trailer and drove me beside it to do the jump again so we could get different angles on the camera, it was harder because I could no longer control the bike. It was someone else driving me on a trailer, and so that was kind of scary. Another one that was also difficult was hanging out the side of a helicopter, shooting guns and stuff without a seatbelt on. And that was probably not the smartest thing. I had a different harness, but it was not like, if I fell, they still would have had to land pretty weird just to make sure I didn't get hurt. But it was different, but no problems. We did it all right. But I'll tell you, I sure felt like James Bond that day, and that was pretty cool.
I tell you, how much time are you spending in the United States now versus Canada? Is it 50-50 now, or still is Canada the home base?
Canada's still the home base, but it's probably getting closer to 50-50. Plus, my sweetheart is from San Diego. But yeah, I think over the last couple of months, if we look at it, I mean, we did movies in Kentucky and Connecticut. We were just down here again in the States and in LA. I did a couple movies in the UK and we were over in France. So, I mean, and then we were in Hawaii recently as well. So,
Not too shabby.
yeah, I'm probably spending I'm spending at least 50% of my time in the US for sure.
You have
Definitely.
a bucket list of a place where you would love to film? Like you talk about Hawaii and France. You mentioned
Wow.
you've been to Asia. Is there a place like, gee, I wish we
Right.
filmed in Switzerland or Austria or wherever?
Yeah, you know what? I haven't really thought about that, but I would love to go do some more in Japan and love to do some stuff in the Philippines. We had fun in the Philippines before. So yeah, I would just love to go back to those parts of the world. When I was in Asia, we got a chance to film in Singapore, Thailand, Kuala Lumpur, Bali, Taiwan, Hong Kong, mainland China, obviously the Philippines I just mentioned, and I think that's probably about it. But Asia is a really fun place to work as well. Just love the people there. Actually, it's not on my IMDb, but I actually co-hosted a TV show in China for about a year. But for some reason, they don't list credits for China TV on IMDb. I don't know why, but it is what it is.
What was the topic? What was the theme?
Oh, it was very much like an America's Got Talent type show, and I was
yes.
co-host on the show. And yeah, there was a girl that spoke total Chinese, and I had to kind of observe her body language and then speak the Chinese that I could. So, I speak a little bit of Mandarin. And then while I was there, I also did all of the tourism sites. So if you go to the Great Wall of China and you put in the English audio and turn it to English, that's me. And
It's
I did
Douglas,
also
huh?
like things like, I did the Wutai Mountain. I did the Shanghai Oriental Pearl Tower. We did the Nine Dragon Wall. We did like on and
Very
on and on and
cool.
on. But yeah, that's me. I did all that stuff for Chinese tourism.
Why do you love doing this? You've been doing it for a while now, and you thought about it when you were a kid, pursued it. It's not easy. None of these industries we're in come easy. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of hard work, a lot of effort, time, sacrifice, patience, all these things. What is it about you? What are some blessings in your life and some things about it that really
Oh.
keep you moving forward and wanting to stick with it and do it?
You know, that's a really interesting question. I mean, the easy answer to it is to just joke and say, well, I don't know how to do anything else. Partially true. I'll be honest with you. As I went to school, I was never really good at the sciences or a lot of the math stuff or all of these. And so I kind of felt like I didn't know what I was going to do, and it was going to be difficult for me and all this kind of stuff. And then, you know, the teachers asked me, like you heard also in your presentation at the beginning about me, you said that I was on academic probation. That is not a lie. I was. But as soon as the teachers helped me see that the things that I love to do and that I was passionate about could be a career, that's when everything changed for me. And I didn't really pursue acting and film to make a lot of money. I did it because honestly, every time I was involved in that world, I felt like I was on fire. It was something I wanted to do. And I've just been really blessed that I've been able to, you know, make it work as a career. So I'm just grateful. And I mean, the other thing that I think is important is you got to look at it as show business. So it's not just having the talents and the skills.
Right.
There's a lot of talented people out there, but it is a business, and you need to understand how to build the connections and the structure so that you can become, you know, a security for your family and for your own life. And I think if you can kind of navigate that effectively, you can really have some really great experiences. And having said that, knock on wood, I'm so grateful for the fans and friends that just love the shows that we're doing. And I'm so grateful for their support, because I couldn't make movies unless people wanted to see what we're making, right? So I just want to say how grateful I am, for all the people who've supported my career in that way. And please stay. I need my job. Please stay. Please.
That's
keep
right.
coming.
Stick with it. Absolutely,
Stick with
my
it.
friend.
If you stick with it, I'll stick with it. It's that easy.
Well, that's right. Exactly. That's what it is. It takes a village, as I always say. And congratulations again on Mafia Spies, Paramount Plus. Real quick, you mentioned a little bit about it. Tell us the premise for people that are going to go check this out as far as the storyline. And obviously, I mean, look at the people that are on the screen. You can see a lot of major images there.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I think it's a really, really, really cool story. Now, here's the thing: is we've all got ideas on what we thought happened in the 1960s between the American government and the Cubans and the Russians, and even the assassination of JFK. There's been so many interesting conspiracies out there about what really happened. But in Mafia Spies, it's based on a lot of declassified documents from not only the CIA and FBI, but other parts of the world and other media outlets that are now allowed to freely talk about some of the things that happened in the 1960s. And I'm going to tell you, it surprises you. You will see some people like JFK in a different light than you ever saw him. There's some things that he did and some things that he was involved in that most of us don't know. You'll also see Frank Sinatra was a big player in world politics, which is just hilarious because he was involved with the mob. Everybody's been talking about it, but he was. And you'll start to see some of those connections. You will start to see about sort of the affairs that JFK had and some of the other people that shared the same women with him, including people from the mob. You'll also get a chance to see how the CIA actually worked hand in hand at times with the mafia. They were partners with them at times. And some of the things that they created are absolutely next to impossible to believe. So you'll just get a whole new thinking about how these things happen. I do want to give a shout out. You can see the fellow there in the beige suit, the actor playing John Rosselli there. That's Nick Annunziata. And you guys will remember him from The Sopranos. Nick was absolutely a blast to work with, even though me and another guy named John Zacchino, we were the FBI guys hunting John Rosselli. We got to know Nick, and we loved Nick so much. He was super, super fun. And I also want to congratulate him for his work in Mafia Spies. Just such an amazing, amazing actor. And we had so much fun on that movie set.
Cool stuff. We'll look for that on Paramount Plus. Douglas, this was really a fantastic conversation. Like we say here on the show, we don't do really interviews. They're more like free-flowing conversations, and we go in different directions. And the viewers watching around the world, too. This will be archived on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. If you missed anything, joined us late, you want to see it again, you want to share it on social media, folks, you can certainly do that. Douglas, this was terrific. Thanks for stopping by the show and chatting with us for this amount of time, and your generosity as you're traveling throughout California right now. I'm back up to Vancouver. Congratulations on everything, my friend. And as I always say to everybody, we're going to keep the porch light on for you. You're welcome back here at the Jim Masters Show live anytime. Spread the word about our series to other folks you think might like to pop on the show. And I hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with you, my friend.
Thank you for having us. And Winston in the back is also very happy that he had a chance to participate.
He's a star. He's a star.
He's
Everybody,
a star.
Yes. Your lovely driver.
Absolutely. My sweetheart, Jen.
She's a smooth driver. I tell you, the car's just been straight the whole time.
Incredible.
She's avoided all potholes. She's really good.
And she even let me go to In-N-Out and get some Dr. Pepper. So that lady, don't trade that one in, I'll tell you for sure.
There's the website, folks, for Douglas as well. Check out projects, cool things he's working on, a little bit more about his background. Douglas, thanks for stopping by again, the Jim Masters Show live series. And come see us again. And truly, I hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you.
Thank you for having me. And anytime, this has been a blast.
Jamie Hill says hello. Good to see you, Jamie, watching as
And
well.
Jamie is a big star too. You should have her back. She was one of the leads
yeah.
in Skinamarink, which is one of the most famous Canadian scary movies in a long time. Won tons of awards, and it's doing well. Jamie's awesome.
As are you, my friend. Thanks for stopping by. Congratulations on all, and we'll see you again real soon, okay?
Take care, everybody.
All right. As you're driving through, spread the word to every town that you were on the Jim Masters show.
Will do.
Let's build it up. Cheers.
Sure.
Safe driving. Take care now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Cool, huh? What a great conversation. Great guy, and very talented, very passionate, very enthusiastic about life and about everything he's doing. And Douglas Vermeeren joining us here on the show, not from Canada, not from San Diego, but somewhere in between. Actually, on I-5, traveling through California, that is, and just really a great conversation, sort of on the road. And he's been doing this since he was a kid. And as I mentioned, starring in Mafia Spies on Paramount Plus. Look for that. And of course, the Hallmark Christmas movie and other cool things. And we'll definitely have him back here on the show. We appreciate him being here. And of course, we appreciate you being here as well. I'm your host, Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time till next time. Really cool stuff. Hey, I want to let you know, those of you who remember the NBC sitcom, The Facts of Life, Jerry Jewell is joining us on Friday. She played Cousin Jerry on NBC's The Facts of Life. This is an exclusive, joining us here on Friday. It's going to be amazing. Just the other night, Eric Roberts, iconic actor Eric Roberts, was here on the Jim Masters Show live series. Debbie Campbell was just here, daughter of Glenn Campbell, and another iconic actress, Susan Lanier. She was in The Hills Have Eyes. She was on Welcome Back, Kotter. Lots of cool series and films. She was with us. We had a great conversation here on the Jim Masters Show live series. Just some of the many. You can binge watch, go back in the archives and binge watch all the great episodes here on our show. And if you enjoyed this episode, give this episode a like, thumbs up like on our YouTube channel. Share the link on your social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, and leave a comment in the comments section. We love that. Be interactive, connect with us. Let us know what you enjoy about our series, our shows, and everything that we're doing here at the Jim Masters Show live series. And anybody who's joined us for the first time around the world, we welcome you to the Jim Masters Show live series. Thanks for all the great comments in the chat room as well. We really appreciate that. And you guys are terrific. Thank you very much. Pierre says, fantastic program. Thank you, Pierre. And Kathleen in New York City, great show. From a car, too. Leslie Diana, thank you. Great interview. Leslie, appreciate you being here as well. And everybody watching from around the world. This is your Jim Masters host. Thank you very much for joining us. And thank you for your time this time. Till next time, as we always say, come see us again. We'll be right here waiting for you. But also, don't forget to love one another. Take care of one another. Don't forget to do the very same for yourself. Jim Masters here in Liberty Hall, JMS. Be well. Take care. See us again on the Jim Masters Show Live. And cheers.